Hello everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing how you can use ChatGPT to help you save time. Back to school is a very busy season for teachers, whether you're brand new to teaching or you've been in the classroom for years. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through in depth 6 different examples of how you can actually use ChatGPT to take some work off your plate. ChatGPT is an incredible tool for educators to use, especially if it's being used responsibly and effectively. So without further ado, let's get started. Right now, I am on the ChatGPT website. I just went to chatgpt.com. I already have a ChatGPT account, so this is what my homepage looks like. If you do not currently have an account, I would recommend that you pause this video and create one before following along. So like I said, I am currently on the home page here, and you will see that I am able to type in an input to ask ChatGPT to perform a task for me. In order to set yourself up for success with using ChatGPT, I always recommend to teachers that you follow a specific formula. You are the expert on teaching your own students. ChatGPT does not know your students. It has never been in your classroom. At the end of the day, it is just a tool. You are the expert on your own students and on your own classroom. So for this reason, I like to provide the necessary context to set ChatGPT up for success. So the first thing that I like to do whenever I provide a prompt to ChatGPT is I like to provide it with a clear action. I like to start off my prompt by letting ChatGPT know what I want it to do. So I will specifically type in a clear action. Then once I have let ChatGPT know what I would like for it to do, in the same prompt, I will then provide it with some context. So I will let ChatGPT know that I am a teacher, I teach XYZ grade level, I'm currently focusing on this subject area or this unit. Whatever context is useful for the task that you're asking for it to do for you. Then I will provide some very detailed instructions. I like to be very clear about what I want the output to look like. That way, I am actually receiving something from ChatGPT that I can use. Oftentimes, you might need to make edits. You might want to add on your own personality. You might want to fact check ChatGPT. But by providing very clear instructions, you're going to increase your chances of getting a successful output. And then lastly, I will conclude by restating the task. I will restate the action that I'm asking for ChatGPT to do for me. Now you'll see some of this is a little bit repetitive, especially if you are asking ChatGPT to do something fairly simple for you. But I still think that this formula is highly effective no matter what you are asking ChatGPT to do. Taking the time to go through these 4 steps in your prompt will maximize your chances of success. So now let's actually dive into the fun part. Let's take a look at 6 different examples of how you can save time using ChatGPT during this back to school season. As we approach the start of the school year, chances are you might be sending out a Meet the Teacher letter to students and families. Meet the Teacher letters are a really great way to introduce yourself, share a little bit more about your teaching style, what students can anticipate to learn in your classroom this year, and overall, I think that these letters can do a really great job at helping set the tone for the remainder of the school year. That being said, they can be a little bit tedious to write. For this reason, I recommend using ChatGPT to assist you with getting a head start. So let's take a look at an example. Right now we are looking at a prompt that I put into ChatGPT to assist me with generating a Meet the Teacher letter. You'll see I have utilized my formula up at the top in our prompt here. I typed in a very clear action to ChatGPT. I said, write a Meet the Teacher letter for back to school. The context that I provided is that I am a 2nd grade teacher, and this is my 6th year teaching. Of course, if you want to provide more context, you're welcome to do so. Then for instructions, I said, please write a 3-paragraph letter to families. The first paragraph should introduce myself to families and let them know that I'm excited to be their child's 2nd grade teacher this year. The second paragraph should share more about general classroom expectations and ways I'll infuse fun and learning into our school year. And the third paragraph should include some general expectations about how to contact me. And then lastly, I will restate the task. Write a Meet the Teacher letter for back to school. Now you'll notice there's a little bit of repetition here. I have mentioned that we are writing a Meet the Teacher letter a couple of times. The reason that I do so is I really want to get the point across. While I don't think it's necessary to include this much repetition in a prompt this small, I still like to follow this structure to really ensure that I am receiving exactly what I'm looking for. So now we'll take a look at the output that ChatGPT provided me with. On the screen here, you will see the full letter that ChatGPT has provided. What I will do is I will read this letter, and I may prompt ChatGPT to make some edits. Maybe I will provide some more context. Maybe I will change what it has written about the communication systems that we have in place. But this is a really great starting point or a really great framework. Of course, you might want to incorporate some of your own personality, some fun facts about yourself into this letter, but like I said, I think it's a really great starting point. The next thing that you can do if you would like is you can actually export this directly. So let's say that this letter is perfect, it's ready to go. All you need to do is add in your name and your contact information, then that's great. You can go ahead and respond to this message from ChatGPT and ask it to export this file for you as a PDF or as a document, whatever way you would like to share it with families. That being said, if you're like me and you like to add your own creative flair to it, you can actually copy and paste this letter here and input it into a template to make your design of your letter feel a little bit more warm or inviting. I will put up on the screen here an example of what I am talking about. If you do like the way that this template looks, I will include a link to it in my TPT store down below, or of course, you're welcome to make your own template too. My second suggestion for how you can use ChatGPT during this back to school season is to use it to help you plan ahead. I am a really big fan of batching work, which means taking a look at a bunch of tasks that I have to do throughout the school year and actually accomplishing it in just one sitting. ChatGPT can be a really valuable resource for you to actually plan ahead. So for example, let's say that you're an elementary school teacher and you lead a morning meeting every single morning. You can use ChatGPT to help you brainstorm morning questions or morning activity ideas that you can do with your students for every single day of the school year. So for example, you could ask it to generate a list of 50 morning meeting questions that you can try out with your students. What ChatGPT can come up with in just a couple of seconds might take you a little bit longer to brainstorm yourself. So it's a really valuable way to help you save time on something that you need to do right now, but also something that you'll likely be working on later in the school year too. So let's take a look at an example. Right now on the screen here, you'll see that I am sharing an example of how you can use ChatGPT to help you plan ahead or to batch out some work. Specifically, in this example, I am a 10th grade English teacher, and every week I task my students with a writing activity. I give them a prompt, and then they respond to that prompt in their journals. So what I have done is I have gone ahead and used ChatGPT to assist me with brainstorming a list of writing prompts for every single week of the entire school year. I let ChatGPT know in the instructions that our school year starts in August, and I want these prompts to occur weekly all the way through the end of May. And then again, the task that I've asked ChatGPT to do is to share a list of these writing prompts with me. And the output here is pretty remarkable. ChatGPT has actually generated a list of writing prompts that I could share once a week with students for the entire school year. This is a fantastic way to help you save time and to batch out a ton of ideas all at once. So let's take a look at all of the different writing prompts for 10th grade students that ChatGPT has generated for me. You'll see these are organized by month. We have August, September, October, all the way through May. All of these fantastic writing prompts. Some of them might require some tweaks, some edits. But for the most part, they look pretty strong. This is a really great starting point. Like I said, you might want to make adjustments, but this looks pretty solid at first glance to me. You'll also see that I didn't even ask ChatGPT to do this, but it created a specific theme for every single month. So for example, the theme of February is empathy and relationships. The theme of December is reflection and imagination. So I think that this is a really great approach to helping you brainstorm and batch out work for the school year. My third suggestion to help you save time during this back to school season is by using ChatGPT to help you generate a monthly newsletter template. I know that a lot of teachers send out monthly or even weekly newsletters to students and families about the happenings in their classroom, and using ChatGPT to create a template will help you save time not just right now, but also throughout the school year. So let's take a look at an example. On the screen right here, you will see that I have prompted ChatGPT to generate a monthly newsletter for my 8th grade science class. I provided a little bit of context, I provided some instructions, and of course, I've restated the task. If you scroll down here, you will see the template that ChatGPT has generated for me. If you want to export this as a doc or as a PDF, you can do so. So you can take a look, and it's included a couple of key sections. It's included a section on what we're learning this month, a project spotlight, some classroom highlights, some important dates, and how families can support at home, as well as contact information. This looks like a pretty good framework to start. And as you go, you can continue to revisit this prompt, type in some information to ChatGPT, and it will further edit and create this template into an actual newsletter for you. So for example, if I wanted to come back to this prompt in September, I could provide in this very same chain of text here, I could provide more information to ChatGPT, and I could ask it to import information into the template above. So I could share some information about a specific science unit that I'm working on and ask it to input it into the template above. And then I can export the output and email it off directly to families. This is a really useful way to help you save time throughout the year. I know that newsletters can get a little bit tedious, especially if you're having to send them out weekly or monthly, and ChatGPT can be a great way to help you save time. At the start of the school year, a lot of teachers will choose to send out a questionnaire to students and families to learn more about the students who are entering their classroom this school year. So for this reason, what better way to save time on creating a questionnaire than by using, of course, ChatGPT. So let's take a look at an example. On the screen here, you will see that I have tasked ChatGPT with generating some Google form questions to collect more information about students and families. I provided some context, I've shared that I'm a K-5 art teacher, and I need to learn more about the students who are coming into my class this year. I've asked ChatGPT to generate a list of questions to collect information. I put some key features that I know I need information about, like the student's name and grade level, but I've kept it a little bit vague because I want to see what ideas that ChatGPT is able to generate for me. So I've restated the task, I've asked it to list the questions and format it for Google Forms specifically. So let's take a look at what it's come up with. So you'll see that because I've tasked it with creating this as a Google form, it's even let me know the question type. So this one for student's first and last name, ChatGPT has decided this should be a short answer, versus grade level could be something like a drop down. Homeroom teacher could also be a short answer too. And then you'll see, as we go a little bit farther down, ChatGPT has actually generated its own questions that it thinks would be valuable for you to ask families. Some of these I might not have personally thought of. So for example, ChatGPT has asked some general questions about the child's interests or hobbies, art related or not. Asked some questions about any previous experiences with art, classes, camps, favorite mediums. ChatGPT has also included a section on supporting children, providing some extra scaffolding or support if needed, and then even an optional section on getting involved. Of course, you might need to make some edits or adjustments, but this is a really great framework to help you save time. ChatGPT generated this in just a couple of seconds, and I know it would have taken me much longer. I know that as a teacher, sometimes the very last thing that you want to do when you're feeling under the weather or you're having an emergency is creating a sub-plan. So for this reason, I love to use ChatGPT to generate a sub-plan that you can have in your back pocket to send off and share if you're under the weather, something has come up, and you're not able to teach your students immediately. Of course, you can also use ChatGPT for your own lesson planning. That's not something I'm going to dive into in today's video, but a lot of teachers will use ChatGPT for general lesson planning, but I personally prefer to use it when creating something like a sub-plan. You, at the end of the day, are going to be the expert on the material that you are teaching your students, but ChatGPT can be a really quick fix if you are in a pinch, if you're in a bind, and you need a lesson plan to share out quickly. So on the screen here, you'll see that I have asked ChatGPT to generate a sub-plan that I can share quickly in case of an emergency. I provided very brief context. You might want to be a little bit more granular or specific here, but for now, I think that this is sufficient. The context that I provided is that I teach 11th grade US history. Next, I have some instructions. Create a sub-plan I can fill out quickly in case of an emergency. Make sure you include clear learning goals and procedures for the sub. Since it'll be used on short notice, I want it to be something standards aligned, but it can be more open-ended. It doesn't necessarily have to focus on a specific time period or unit. My idea behind this activity, or this prompt specifically, is having something just general that I don't even need to do anything behind the scenes to deploy or send off to the sub. It's pretty much just ready to go. It's standards aligned, but it doesn't necessarily have to do with the unit that we are focusing on in school at that time. You might have a different system, but that's just the approach that I went for with this prompt specifically. So now I will scroll down here and we will see that ChatGPT listed some standards. Now, I do not teach 11th grade history, and I have not actually fact-checked to see if these are correct standards. You will want to make sure that you fact-check ChatGPT, especially if you are having it create a lesson for you. So if it is spitting out standards, please do a quick Google search. Make sure that these are actual real standards that you are teaching to your students. So then I will scroll down and I will see the lesson title. It says, what has changed, what has stayed the same, a reflection on historical themes. We have some clear learning objectives up at the top here. We have some materials. We have procedures or setup instructions for the substitute. We will have even an option for early finishers, as well as some brief notes for the sub. If this looks good to go, you can go ahead and export it and email it off to the sub. Or of course, if you'd like, you can make some edits, some tweaks, and save it when it's time to share in the future. And then lastly, for tip number 6, I actually decided to ask ChatGPT what the best ways that I can use it as a tool to help me save time for back to school. So let's take a look at the suggestions that ChatGPT shared. First, we have a category on classroom communications. A couple of these we actually covered in these tips today. Meet the teacher letter, newsletters, and also back to school night presentations. Then we have lesson planning, first week activities, lesson outlines, differentiation. Then we have classroom management, behavior expectation posters, parent contact scripts, classroom jobs lists. Classroom job list I think is actually a very interesting idea and something that I might consider doing if I were a classroom teacher. Curriculum design, scope and sequence, project ideas, assessment rubrics, organization and admin, to-do lists, classroom setup ideas, parent survey forms, self-care and time saving, batching tasks, mindset support, and templates galore. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's video about how you can use ChatGPT to help you save time, especially during this busy back-to-school season. If you liked today's video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you back here soon. Bye, friends.